out today?
Wow.
That's not good.
Smile.
What's up, beautiful? Have a good day. Hey, what's up, girl? How you doing? Somebody's acknowledging you for being beautiful. She said, hey,
Hey, baby.
hey, beautiful. How are you this morning?
Have a nice evening.
Nice. Damn. Damn.
Well, joining me now is the actress in the video, Shoshana Roberts, along with Emily May, who's the executive director of Hollaback, an organisation trying to stop street harassment. Both of them joining us from New York now. And thank you both very much for joining us. Shoshana, can I just ask you, first of all, so it's probably the naive question of a male presenter here, but were you surprised by the amount of comment you got, or is that what you get anyway?
I get that on a typical day, unfortunately. That was just a day in my life. But, I mean, I don't hear all of these comments. The microphones were really good and picked up things from when I was halfway down the block that I was not aware of.
I mean, there's a long time to go around walking around a city, fair enough, but that's something like a comment every 6 minutes, and some of them pretty crude and pretty pushy. Again, standard fare for you?
Unfortunately, yes. And this is my story. It happens every day, but my story isn't unique. There are many, many other people who have the same exact story as me. Right,
OK. There's another element of that video which really got us, which was, I think we've got a little bit of it, actually, a little chunk of one guy who you clearly didn't know, who decided to accompany you, and not just for a moment, but he did it for ages. He just stuck with you for 5 minutes. Have we got some of that? Let's just see if we've got that. Here we are. Let's just have a look at this. We're letting it breathe because this just goes on and on. There we are. It says 4 minutes on the screen, then we move on, 5 minutes. Can I ask, I mean, you knew there was a camera there and you knew you had someone effectively watching your back, but how did that feel, having this guy sticking with you?
I thought I was going to burst into tears, but I just used my acting training. I'm an actress, and I kept my composure. I have been doing martial arts since I was 9 years old. I was thinking, should I get him in the sternum or the kneecaps if I need to?
Well, it would have made great video, I have to say, but probably wise that you stuck to the task you had in hand. Emily, let me turn to you if I can. How valuable do you think this experiment might yet prove to be? Because, of course, there's been a huge response, hasn't there?
There's been a huge response, and we're so grateful to Shoshana and also to the filmmaker Rob Bliss for making this happen. This is huge, and I think that people around the world are looking at this, and if they get harassed, they're saying, yep, that's what my life looks like, and if they don't, they're saying, oh my God, I had no idea. This is not just compliments, this is serious.
Can I just ask you, I mean, it was New York City. That's one city in the world. Is it different in New York? I mean, it's a pretty liberal place, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, a study just came out today saying that the New York City transit system, the New York City transit system said it was the safest one actually in the world. So I don't know if New York is specific or unique, but what I do know is that everywhere street harassment happens and that there's resistance to it all around the world. We have sites in 79 cities in 26 countries in 14 different languages.
That's pretty comprehensive. I was just leaning over to the printer there because I've got some social media comment here. This is coming from various directions, but let me read one or two out to you. Russell Pardo from Salem in the US says, as a man, I find this to be disgusting and very shameful that other men do this. Caroline Crossan from Glasgow in Scotland said those men who don't see a problem with it should ask themselves how they would feel if this happened to their mother or sister or daughter. Warwick Scott Humphreys, though, says there is nothing wrong with saying hello or what's up. Talk about an overreaction. And Emily Mimi in London says, I'd take it as a compliment unless someone oversteps the mark and invades your personal space. Then what's the harm in it? So let me just ask you both. Shoshana, I'll ask you first. Is there so much so wrong with saying, hi, beautiful?
The words alone don't hurt, but it's the intonation of their voice, it's the intentions, it's the ulterior motives they have. They're not saying hello to the man behind me or the woman in front of me.
But let's be crude about it. They're saying hello to a pretty young woman.
It's a barrage of comments. If it was just one every so often, okay, I could deal with it. But it brings up all of these awful memories of sexual assault from my past.
Right. Emily May, if I could ask you then, how do you convert those who say, oh, come on, this is just life?
Look, I mean, I think street harassment really ruins it for the nice guys. I think that, we want to live in a world where people can say good morning to each other. How are you? You look great today. But the reality is that we're living in a world where when we hear those things as women, we're thinking, God, what's next? Are you going to follow me down the street? Are you going to hurt me? And it's that fear of escalation that's always sitting with us as women when we walk down the street.
Right. It's interesting what you say, what happens next, because, Shoshana, there's been a sort of social media storm to this. It's not all been great for you, I understand.
There are some very mean people in the world.
Right. What sort of response has there been for you on social media, and what effect has that had?
I mean, there have been negative comments, but luckily the thank yous speak the loudest, and I hear so many thank yous and people who were not aware of this. We wanted this to bring knowledge of this subject to people who are unaware, and that's what we did. We clearly hit a nerve because of these negative comments. We know that.
Well, I don't think you can doubt that. It's had an amazing response. Neat little project too.